I'm Brad Miser, the back road driver. You're watching the Money Edition, and today we're going to show you how my 2018 F-150, the Landshark, is the real Roush killer. Since launching this channel with just a couple of videos, a lot of people have asked, what does it take to make a truck like that? This is a 2018 F-150 Lariat that I bought used, and we're going to talk about the pricing on that, and then I'm going to tell you every mod that we've done. What we've got here is 750 crank horsepower, 600 to the rear wheels, with a VMP ODIN kit supercharger. So let's get into it. Now here's the deal. Just like we always do on this channel, we end with a bang on every single video. If you stay to the end, I promise you some free donuts. This is the ODIN Supercharger, and no, I'm not Doug DeMuro. I'm not as good as Doug. This supercharger is unique because it's inverted. The rotor pack is down in the V of the engine, letting the cooler be on the top, so you got a lot more cooling with this supercharger. You can do a lot more pulls without getting heat soak. I've not experienced any heat soak yet. And that kit comes with the twin jet 69mm throttle body. This is a custom cold air intake. With obviously with the pandemic going on, they weren't able to get their F-150 kit molded yet. That's happening, and they're going to send that to me, and I do believe they've already got that for the Mustang. Comes with new injectors, comes with their triple pass heat exchanger up front. It basically comes with everything that you need in that kit, and that kit is $84.99, and I bought that on Black Friday. This is serial number 2. It's number 1 for an F-150, but it's the second supercharger, the second ODIN to go out the door there. The install on this system was $1,620 through VMP. When you do a supercharger, especially on a Coyote motor, it's not a bad idea to do the oil pump gears in billet. They come as some crap metal from Ford, which is great for stock horsepower, but as soon as you start improving that, then you're going to have trouble with that eventually. And I've also got aftermarket crank sprockets. I've got $400 in the oil pump gears and crank sprocket, and $1,080 to install. That sounds crazy, but they have to take basically the whole front end of the motor off. It's a crazy hard job to do. It's probably harder than putting the supercharger on. So a lot of labor in that, but definitely something worth doing, because what Ford puts in those places is a weak spot on this motor, and you will end up with trouble if you don't do that when you add turbos or a supercharger, any kind of power adder. In that kit, it comes with their triple pass heat exchanger right down here. This thing is a monster, and it's hard to show that, but it's pretty doggone big. It's got 2 fans on it, and that's what cools this whole bad boy down. I've got Stainless Works long tube headers. They're already starting to turn, purple and blue from all the heat. That's pretty cool. But they go down, and we've got a no-cat system that goes out to a Roush active exhaust system. So let's look at the Roush system. This is the Roush muffler, and there's a baffle in there, and it will switch over from one side to the other. And one side's open, the other side's closed. Let's take a look at the tips. You can see it come out to the back, and we got dual pipes coming out to the back rear, and the price of that Roush active exhaust system. Now the active exhaust switch, I've got off and on. It's not like the Mustang where you've got multiple modes. You can switch on the fly, but they've actually hid the switch for me right down here. So you got loud, not loud. We'll do a little rev on that here in a little bit. Gosh, I'm sweating. I need some more caffeine. VMP used the N-Gauge tuner on my system. It does come with a little memory chip. Plug it in there. This will actually data log, and then I can put this in a computer. Doesn't have to be a Windows computer. Send it right back to them, and they can adjust my tune. This was on sale for $2.99 when I bought it. Let's talk about the dyno tune. When you get a VMP install, you get a free VMP dyno tune, and that's what they kind of went through this system to do that. That gets me, with this 10-speed transmission, this 10R80, it gets me exactly what I needed for how I wanted to drive the truck, and I gave them a lot of feedback on what I wanted. So that costs $0, but that's a $600 value. Now, as I mentioned, I bought this on Black Friday, and I got a 10% discount on my whole package that I bought from them, so $1,765 comes off of this price. They run sales from time to time, but I don't know what you'll end up paying. The entire VMP system costs $15,928. Not a bad price for getting everything installed from the people who actually designed the supercharger system. So I'm very happy with that, and I'm very happy with the final product so far. I wanted to do a 2-inch level on this truck. May end up going higher with a 4-inch or 6-inch lift later, but knowing that I was getting it supercharged, I wanted to get something mild out of the gate. So what I went with was the Roush by Fox 2.0 system, so it just kind of levels the front, but instead of doing a block that basically just stretches your strut down some, this system actually replaces your entire strut and lifts the front end 2 inches, and then I've got the Roush shocks in the back. So take a look at that. Silver kind of goes good with the truck. You can see a little Fox peeking out there, and then in the back you've got the black plastic cover up top. You can install those either way. That gives the truck a nice stance and a great ride. The price of this system is $1,250, and then I've got $250 in the install. It's a lot more than just a simple leveling kit, but I love how it rides, and I love the fact that I haven't just stretched the suspension out. I've actually replaced it with something that's made to be there. So there's the plastic cover, and you can install them upside down and see the metal part. I've got 20-inch Venom Rex, and that's by Voigtsteiner. These are the 601s, and this color is carbon graphite. I love this color. I think it goes well with the lead foot on the truck. You can get these in about 3 or 4 different colors, and they were kind enough to send me these insert pieces. It comes with nothing. There's like an indented piece, and then I've added these red pop ends that kind of goes well with the style of the truck. Those were $1,200. For tires, we've got the Ridge Grappler by Nitto. These are the 305 55 R20s. They're not cheap, $1,400, and I'm about to have to replace 2 on the rear. I'll probably roll the fronts to the back and then replace the fronts, and probably do that every month to be able to create the content that you see on this channel, especially those free donuts at the end. Washed this thing yesterday or last night, and when I cleaned up under the wheel wells in the rear, I rubbed out about $350 to $400 worth of chunky rubber that I slung up into the wheel well liners. I've got Husky wheel well liners, $140. I think it's money well spent. You can see the body color up in there, and then there's kind of some open space. I like how this kind of caps everything off. Easier to keep clean with all the stuff that I sling off of these, and you can tell they're more than half gone. They've got rough edges on these tires now, but the wheel well liners kind of keep everything under control to where it makes it not that bad for me to clean up. So $140, Husky wheel well liners, money well spent. Probably one of the cheapest, best things you can do if you actually take your truck off road and you sling mud everywhere. Let's talk about window tint. I wanted to match up the front to the back. You know, on the Ford trucks, the rear and the back glass comes tinted, so I matched it up here. $100 to do both sides. From inside, cuts the heat down, looks good, and it's not a lot of money, so a very good upgrade, I think. I'm not a huge fan of doing little cheap knick-knack stuff off Amazon. That's exactly what I've done here. Not a big fan of the big black wispy, and I don't listen to radio anyway, so it was more of a looks thing for me. It's got a little carbon fiber, fake carbon fiber right here. Looks pretty neat. I think it's about $20, so not a big expense, and I think it just looks cool. It's just one of those small details. I don't use my bed for work per se, but I do pick a lot of stuff up. I do like having a gigantic trunk, so I've got the Ford tri-flip deal, and it may be made by somebody else, but this actually came on a truck I had before, and then I moved it over to this truck. $500. I like it. It's weather seals. It's a tri-flip. Pull these 2 little bad boys down. Flip once, flip twice. You can snap this in if you want to and be able to drive down the road, use most of the bed. If you're using, you know, something that's not as tall as this, you get to use the whole bed. But I love being able to cover things up, drive down the road, throw some bikes in there. You can still run into the store and people won't be able to grab stuff out of the back of your truck. But that's a, you know, came from Ford on a Raptor that I had, and about 500 bucks I believe is what I paid when I ordered that truck. Now, the step situation. Everybody's arguing over who has the coolest step. You got Dodge has got swinging barn doors and Chevy's got triple flip down tailgates, but everybody's trying to catch up with this right here. And this is not something I put on, it's factory. It's, I guess, an option that you choose. You got a step, and that's kind of what you get with the Chevy tailgate. This right here, I think that's the game changer, because I'm not getting any younger, and that allows me and my mid-60-year-old dad to be able to get up in here. And then once you're in here, you can do activities, you can do karate, you can do all kinds of stuff, because you can actually get up in the bed of your truck. All right, so let's talk about the truck. This is the big, dadgum, that's hot. Let's talk about the biggest expense of all, the truck. This is what everything's built on. Dadgum, that's hot. I thought I could tough it out. All right, stickered for 60 grand, but I didn't pay 60 grand. I didn't pay 50 grand. I paid $42,000 because I bought the truck with 4,000 miles on it, used. Now, what do you get for $42,000? It's not stripped down. This was the Sport Edition, which cost a little bit, a few more bucks on the front end. I've got the pretty red seats like you get on the Roush truck. But what I do have that the Roush truck doesn't have is the red piping. I've got it on the gear shifter, the console here. I've got it on the dash. What I don't have is 37 Roush badges, and that might be where the other $27,000 comes in. I think that's the secret. I think that is the way you pay for all the other mods, and you'll see in a minute when we total all that up. I think this truck is the budget Roush killer. And when I say Roush killer, I mean I think this truck gives you some things that the Roush truck does not. It gives you the choice of personal style, of what you like, and being able to pick things out, especially if you're like me and you didn't like every little detail that you were actually paying big bucks for on the Roush. So let's talk about the prices of the Roush trucks. All right, before I get into the differences between this truck and Roush on price, let me ask you to do me a favor. I need you to subscribe to this channel, hit like on this video if you enjoy this type of content. On the Backroad Driver, we talk about mostly trucks. We're gonna buy a Bronco. We hope to be one of the first YouTubers to have that. We also talk about cars, and there's some really neat stuff coming up. And we just do general shenanigans. I'm kind of a hoonigan, if you want to call it that, and love doing burnouts and donuts. So if that's something you like, help me out, help me build this channel. Subscribe and then turn that bell on. It's the top setting, and every time I put a video up, you'll be the first to know about it. Now, I promise not to nerd out on you with these numbers, but this is the money edition, so we've got to talk turkey. The truck I'm comparing this to is a 2020 Lariat at a Ford dealer in the Carolinas, and the truck's sticker for $64,000. Now, it does have one major option that mine does not, and that's the lane keep, collision avoidance, the all-around cam when you're trying to park. Very cool features. Yes, I'm a little jelly, I wish I had them. But that truck's stickered at $64,000, and after you put all the Roush stuff on there and you get your supercharger, you come out to a grand total of $90,765, and that's after about a $3,500 discount from the dealer. You may get a little bit more than that off, but let's call it 90 grand. Now, there's two big differences in my opinion. I just want to show off this Ford step, by the way. Look how cool this is. There's two big differences. Number one, let's talk about horsepower. The Roush supercharged system on the truck claims to be 650 horsepower. This truck is 750 at the crank, and that's what we're measuring. Roush crank number 650, this Odin Supercharger kit with everything like I have it, and we're looking at 750 crank. Mine dynoed out 600 at the wheels. VMP has dynoed a Roush truck that came in, and it didn't even make 600 horsepower. I'm sorry, it didn't even make 500. It was like right there at the 500 mark. So we're talking about substantially more horsepower on this setup, and I do have mine tuned up for just daily driving. It's not a race truck, obviously, with it being lifted a little bit. Definitely not a race truck. You could get a lot more out of this supercharger, especially on the Mustangs. They're getting a ton of power out of it, and we've got big wheels. So Roush to VMP, Odin, no contest, hands down. So where does that put us on the numbers? You can spend 90 grand and get a Roush truck, and you get exactly what they have. And if you like that package and you like the warranty, which is something else you get with the Roush, more power to you. That's the truck for you. That's what you should buy. If you like doing your own thing and you want to have the type of wheels you want, and you want the tires that you want, and you want the accessories that you want, my truck has a total cost of $62,788 as it sits right now. When you compare that to $90,000, $27,000 less and over 100 horsepower more. Now, don't think I'm hating on the Roush. It's not my cup of tea. I don't care about a warranty. I did want to spend less money, and I do like picking my own stuff out, and I'm not done with this truck. So when I get done, I'll have more money in it, but it would be hard to spend another $27,000 on this truck. And if I did, I could get Caltrax traction bars, I could get a carbon fiber drive shaft, I could get a new rear diff that's beefed up. So I could take my horsepower that I'm able to put through this system way on up before I would get even close to what that Roush truck costs. Now, I know what you're thinking, 2018 versus 2020, brand new versus used, there's all those things. So there's always factors to consider, but for me, and for a lot of people, spending $27,000 less dollars, and in my opinion, getting a more customized, more powerful, better sounding truck, it's the way to go. Now, because you stayed to the end of this video, you get free donuts.